Frankie is the reason why we're all here. He was the brains behind many operations that we did in Flat Tire Productions or on the TV show.com. And it's because of him that we always had momentum to do what we did. And he did it in a way where we were all united as a community, which is what I know he wanted. And one of his mission statements for what Flat Tire Productions was to be or is, because we it's still there, but definitely to be a home for actors in a community that wanted an artistic outlet and didn't know where to turn. And we all have day jobs, but we just wanted something to creatively express ourselves. And that's what he offered in more than just West Indian comedy.
Well said, Rada. Well said. Yeah, anyone else?
Yeah, I think when you approached me about this, I was thinking about it, and I remember the first time I met Frankie was when he had the bar, and this was right after I saw the original Laugh Till Your Belly Bust. I attended the show, and I was like, I need to meet this person. I need to get involved with this because it was such an amazing thing to see how incredible they put on that show so quickly and changes and everything. It was I was like I want to get, and I met him, and I think he was messing with me, but till this day I'll never know. He sat me down face to face and he looked at me and he's like, "Take off your glasses." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Take it off." He's like, "Look at me." And I'm looking at him and he has a dead stone face. He's like, "All right, we're gonna do it." And up to now, I have no idea what he was looking at. I have no idea what I was supposed to be looking at. I swear to God, I think Frankie was just messing with me. And that moment will always stick with me because to me, it's Frankie. That's the perfect way of describing Frankie as a friend. He would make it seem like the most serious thing in the world, but then he'd just start laughing. And it'll just turn out to be the funniest thing ever. And you'll remember that time with him. And that's something that's one of the key things that keeps him in my heart.
I think we could also say that he was like a mad genius in a way, right? Because I was telling Aaron just a couple days ago, I'm like, you don't realize how iconic it is until you look back on what it actually achieved. And Frankie was, because I came in season two, and I mean, Aaron will I will get into it later, I guess. My character wasn't even supposed to be really, and when you go through the whole like season with him, you realize a lot of this is his deviant little like pranks that he wanted to play. Because a lot of me was picking on Panic, right? But it just seemed like it would be something wicked that he would do to provoke Daryl in real life that he just put it out on the show. And
I would
one
see it
thing I
as him
really
punishing me.
right. I mean, remember the garage scene?
Yes,
Yeah.
We
yes.
all remember.
Right. Um, it was one of those things where he let you be as crazy and kooky as you wanted to be, and as crazy as some of the things that were written in the script when you read it and you were trying to like enact it were, when you looked at it, it seemed actually normal. Like this is stuff that you and your friends actually do. These are really conversations that you have, but the way it's like written and the way he like puts it together, it just seems like crazy. But then you see the end product and it's like, oh, okay, that's really cool how he did that.
Like when he told you to really hit me in the private. Uh, who hit
But
me?
he took
Somebody.
the masking tape, put an X on you, and he pressed down. Okay, so a lot of the torture was him. It wasn't us. Poor you. You had water on you in that like 20-degree weather in the garage.
The
None of us
only
had
thing that didn't
jackets.
happen, I didn't get waterboarded. That's the only thing that failed to happen in that garage.
It was definitely on the list, so we
I'm
had to
sure.
we had to
Yeah,
cut for time.
I remember him saying it, but I don't think it happened because we were running low on time.
Yeah, that's so funny. It was such a creative vent. I feel like Frankie had, where he was very calm to us, but it just came out in the stories. for that. But he was so infectious with his creativity and work ethic. Like he kind of brought us all together to make this show. And you would think like it's groundbreaking, and then like other shows would like other people would do stuff. But nowadays you're seeing people on social media and they're doing things by themselves in their own silos, and which is great and all. But I don't see this, being like kind of echoed again. And it was like I have to give it up to Frankie. He was the guy that kind of brought a lot of these things together, brought us together, and kind of made this for what it was.
And what on what Aaron just said, I mean, not tooting our own horn, but the production value and the creativity that went behind it, it's not on TikTok. It's not like there was so much process into what we did. Everything was methodical and well planned out, well arranged. It's not like, hey, let me just snap this 30-second video and get 20,000 likes. It's like we did, and we were in a time when social media was very, very, very infantile. It was it was just blooming, and look how much we did and how far our influence went. We had followers and people from across the world that would watch our shows and that would look at us on YouTube and send us comments and how they like us and they like what we do. So that level of genius, absolutely, I agree with Roxanne.
Yeah. I mean, there was a period of a couple of years where people called me Susie. So it was impactful, and we being in it, we saw it firsthand. Because there are people in real life who don't realize that Daryl was actually playing himself as Panic.
I very well, Roxanne.
I
I
mean, seriously, you have your own nickname as your character.
I
Yeah, it pretty
I feel
much.
like all of us kind of leaned into our idiosyncrasies a little bit, and so like when we were in public, people were expecting the same. Like I'm sure Frankie got it the worst, where people just were looking for Sundar, and he doesn't even talk like that. Like he was a straight director to us, and as soon as he was in front of the camera, it was a total switch. And I feel like you guys have all been like really good actors. You guys have done the same thing, where I'm talking to Sam, and then Tam is different. So it's just very interesting to see that. But the public doesn't really see that so much. They see just the characters for the most part.
And that's why Frankie was so brilliant because he was able to like tease those little nuances out of everybody and with his encouragement. And Daryl, you're right. The production value of everything that Frankie did was so elevated. When I joined, I was so impressed. Like I was expecting to see like a guy with a little camera in a backyard or something, but when I walked into the studio and it was a studio with booms and lighting and a camera and scripts and like the production value was so amazing and so impressive. And Frankie just had a way of bringing out the best in everybody, and just the creativity level was through the roof when everyone got together under his direction. It was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Frankie, he didn't just organize, these incredible things, the movies, the plays, the TV shows, the sketch comedy shows. Like, I mean, there's a genius behind that, of course, but he was still just he was our friend. Like he was just like the coolest person, and he brought all of us together, and we didn't just volunteer because it was something to do. Like we enjoyed being with each other too, and he did that for us. It's something really special.
But everything else, Frankie was such a great teacher, and like this is someone who was an amazing director, an amazing story writer, an amazing actor, and he would take someone who's completely new, knows nothing about acting, and is just like, yeah, no, well, I'll teach you everything about being behind the camera, about holding a boom, about writing, because I did some script writing, not for LAS, but for some of the skits on the TVshow.com. And he was just awesome, bringing me in and getting me integrated with everyone. I'll stop there.
Yeah, Frankie. Frankie wasn't he was the heart, he was the soul, he was the brains, he was everything for this organization, and you know, uh, it's hard to replace somebody like that. But he made us into a family, and you know, That's something that's hard to do with so many people in such a short time he had with us. But, we love him.